They say to the most that we can slow there, they're able to stay on their feet. That's not true, says George. We know. They must be up for
George Foreman in the ring, and as expected got the louder welcome of the two, which may or may not mean there are more people over 40 in the building than there are under 40. 72-3, 67 knockouts, and going for a title here, the WBO. George values it more than anybody else in boxing does, because he simply says, hey, it's a championship, it's what I want. The skeptics say he's here for the money tonight, and indeed if he wins, he will be back for more money, hopefully for him, against the likes of Riddick Bowe or Lennox Lewis in what would be a huge money fight in either case. The tale of the tape tonight shows the 20-year age span. Old George and young Tommy, 256 pounds for Foreman, 226 pounds for Tommy Morrison. You see the reach is just about the same, interestingly enough, although Foreman is a couple of inches taller.
Let's take a look at the punch stat numbers. You can see that George Foreman is the busier of the two, surprisingly enough, and also the more accurate. So that looks to be in George's favor. And now let's take a look at the jabs. George by far throws more jabs, lands more on a higher percentage. So all the punch stat numbers are in George Foreman's favor.
The WBO rules, as we saw earlier in the evening, the 3 knockdown rule, the significant one as always. 3 knockdowns in 1 round would end the fight in favor of the guy doing the knocking down. Only the referee can stop the fight, although we did hear Flip Pomansky influence the end of the De La Hoya Dorsey fight. And the count continues after the bell, except in the final round. George Foreman looking relaxed as always, and watching him work out this past week, we saw more of the same, sparring with several different sparring partners, standing throughout a 10-round workout, and then auctioning off his training gloves for charity following the workout, and signing about 100 autographs and allowing everybody who wanted to have a picture taken with him to do so. And to Tommy Morrison's credit, he picked up on that theme and did the same during his workouts at the Las Vegas Hilton. Morrison wearing a white baseball hat a la Jim Courier, and for his fans, of course, the hope that the same result won't occur to him as happened to Jim Courier at the French Open, where Sergi Bruguera was the upset winner. Foreman looking very relaxed, as we said, and that is something you can expect. He has been to the big dance, as Gil Clancy has said many, many times before. In fact, Gil Clancy's been there with him a few. Let's go up now to ring announcer Michael Buffer for our pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the Colonel's Secret Recipe at Kentucky Fried Chicken, present 12 rounds of boxing for the World Boxing Organization Heavyweight Championship of the World. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dr. Elias Ghanem, Commissioners Nat Carasali, Bruce Lane, Luther Mack, and Dr. James Nave, Chief Inspector Mark Ratner, WBO President, former light heavyweight champion Jose Torres, WBO Supervisor at ringside Alberto Aleman. Physicians in attendance, lead physician Dr. Flip Pomansky, Dr. James Wish Game, and Dr. Robert Boy. The timekeepers are James Cavan and Mike Lasella. The scoring for this bout would be done on a 10-point must system, and the 3 judges assigned at ringside are Patricia Jarman, Jerry Roth, and Dalby Shirley. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Mills Lane. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of the Las Vegas Hilton, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with stars and bars, weighing in at 226 pounds, this knockout artist has a professional record of 36 victories with 32 KOs against only 1 defeat. He comes here tonight from Kansas City. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the number 2 ranked heavyweight in the world, Tommy the Duke Morrison. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks and weighing in at 256 pounds. We have the 1968 Olympic gold medalist, who now as a professional is 72-3 with 67 KOs, which is the greatest knockout ratio in heavyweight history. Ladies and gentlemen, from Houston, Texas, presenting the former heavyweight champion of the world, Big George Foreman.
George Foreman with a just happy to be here smile for the crowd as he was introduced. Now a bit of a scowl comes onto his face as he gets the game face on. Mills Lane awaits the two fighters.
All right, gentlemen, Angelo, and if he goes right here, I'm not going to call it low. Right here is going to be all right. Now, you've already had your instructions one time. This is for the championship of the world. I expect a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions here? Any questions here? Let's get it on.
George Foreman and his camp did not want Mills Lane to be the referee. They wanted Carlos Padilla. The commission voted otherwise. Mills Lane considered one of the really outstanding referees, and perhaps for George, as suggested by one of the local writers here, a little too tough. In other words, not a kind of guy that George might influence to stop a fight when he wants it stopped. Round number one.
Here we go, Tim. I think we're going to find out early just how Tommy Morrison handles George's left jab and that little pushing movement that George has.
Well, and speaking of the left jab, you feel it's something that Morrison does pretty well and should do more of, especially in this fight.
Well, he said he was going to use his jab more in this fight, Tim, and he does have a very good solid jab when he uses it. Now you can see George pushing him off with those pushing tactics as soon as the fight starts.
Watching for signs of tightness or the stage fright we referred to on the part of Tommy Morrison. He knows this is a breakthrough fight, although he does not accept the fact that should he lose, that his career is over or that he should be dropped to the bottom of the barrel among the heavyweights. Most people feel he needs a win and a good showing here to be considered a serious title contender for the big guys, Bo and Lewis.
Good left hook on the side of George Foreman's head by Tommy Morrison. That got George's attention. Now I'm surprised that George isn't leading with that jab a little more. He's chasing Morrison, but he's not throwing anything.
Well, a sign of Foreman's considerable bulk and strength pushing back Tommy Morrison, the 226-pounder. Good right hand by Morrison. There were rumors that Morrison was knocked down in training by his sparring partner. He denies that. There were rumors that he had a bad right hand. He said it was a sore shoulder, and it was 5 weeks ago, and that he's 100% fit. Foreman, on the other hand, has been bothered by a sore right elbow in the last several months, and he claims to be over that. He accepts all of these little aches and pains as just signs of old age.
And Tim, so far, as I had mentioned earlier, George Foreman is just walking in, but he's not throwing any punches. He's not moving in behind that left jab at all. Good left hook to the body by Morrison.
The body attack very much in Morrison's strategy. Let's see if he can stay with it.
But Morrison has been using that left jab this round, as he told us he was going to do. And again, big right hand by Morrison.
That was a good lead. He saw the opportunity.
And again, you know, George is just walking in, not punching, Tim.
Under 30 seconds to go in round one. The more active Morrison in this first round. Combination just grazing the chin of Foreman. There's a good left to the ear. Foreman feinting, never delivered a punch. Another right lands to the head of Foreman. The end of round one.
the jabs start working, pretty. Guys looking to sucker you, just keep your hands up. That's all it's all about, really. Nothing there. Give me the bench, man. Everything pretty. Everything pretty. I see it.
Angelo Dundee in George Foreman's corner.
7-7-2s to body, 7-7-2-1s.
Relax, baby. Doing good.
Any combinations, go to the body first, come up to the head. Bring his hands down. Doing a nice job. Real nice job. Good and relaxed. Good and relaxed. Keep that seven coming back high. When you feel yourself in the corner, get out of it.
Well, they gave Tommy Morrison the area code and the entire international number over there. Gil, decipher that for us.
Well, the only thing I know about is a 7 is a jab. Outside of that, I don't know.
Well, they gave him a bunch of 7s.
Now let's see if George changes his strategy at all. In his first round, Tim, he looked like a fighter that all of a sudden got old because he just didn't seem to react properly. Looking for the opening, but he's not firing. You know, that's what Joe Louis said at the end of his career. He said, I can see the opening, but by the time the message gets to my brain, the opening's gone. Well, let's see if George comes out of that doldrum now and starts snapping that good stiff left jab.
Good shot by Morrison off the clinch. That's a very mature play by Morrison there. And he scored it.
And that was one of those times when George did not push that left shoulder of Morrison's back.
Morrison looks very concentrated, very poised. I hesitate to say relaxed at this point.
No, you can't relax when you're in there with Big George. Morrison already has a little lump under his right eye.
Good right hand. That snapped back the head of Foreman.
That wobbled him a little bit, Tim. And what George is doing right now, if he keeps doing this, he's going to really make Morrison work and hopefully tire Morrison out because George is not throwing too many punches at all.
We're in round 2, scheduled for 12. WBO title at stake, but much more to both fighters.
Good left hook by Morrison. Good combination to the body.
Roundhouse right hand lead fell short for Morrison.
Why he needed to throw that punch, I'll never know, Tim.
Those are the kinds of costly possible mistakes that he and his trainer Tommy Burgess hoped to avoid. They said they couldn't make mistakes against Foreman.
Morrison pointed out to us when we had the interview with him that he says George has to set. It takes him a long time to get off. He said, so I'm gonna get off first and beat him to the punch.
There's a sample right there.
And that's
good
what
job.
he's been doing since the fight started.
And a good stiff jab from Morrison. Now Morrison looks a little more loose to me, Gil.
Yes, he does. He seems to be saying, oh, look, I'm having everything my own way.
Tried the uppercut. There's a good right hand from Foreman. His best punch so far.
And Morrison now has forgot the jab.
Yes, he led with the left hook. It served to back up Foreman, but did leave himself open.
Fine.
Just trying to get around.
Okay. Deep breath.
Foreman standing up as customary in the corner, denying that the problem is he can't get up if he sits down.
Yeah. You waited in the corner and you let him get off first.
Let's take a look at this replay here. Now they're coming out of a clinch. George pushes him, but doesn't push him hard enough. Gets nailed with a good left hook. There's that right hand, and that did wobble George. George's legs did a little dance.
Well, he had a clean shot with that right hand down the pipe. His best punch of the round. Morrison has thrown 104 punches to 40 by Foreman so far through 2 rounds. Foreman the more accurate, 55% according to our punch stat keepers of the punch. Round 3 scheduled for 12. Tim Ryan with Bill Clancy and James Brown live on TVKO from the Thomas and Mack Arena in Las Vegas.
And now Morrison comes out using that left jab as he told us he was going to do, and forgot about it at the end of the last round. And it just seems George's strategy is going to be to try to wear Morrison out.
Morrison warned for a low blow, but it was a nice combination. The left jab followed by a left hook underneath.
I think George is trying to put mental pressure on Tommy Morrison.
The right hand lead, an uppercut that scored from Foreman, and a right hand behind it. But Morrison punches back. And a good defensive move by Morrison underneath the right hand of Foreman. Something the Morrison camp says they've worked on since the loss to Mercer. Better defense, better jabbing, better movement. And there, another sneaky shot off the clinch.
Well, again, George tried to push him but didn't move him. Look how long it takes for George to get off. He has Morrison in the corner, and he just doesn't get off. He has Morrison in the corner, and he just doesn't get off. And Tommy's mouth is now starting to open up, and it's early in the fight. That could be a sign of fatigue.
Or the tightness that he seemed to bring into the ring the first round and a half. He was asked about second wins. He felt he got one against Joe Hipp when he came back from difficulty to win.
Well, I thought he got a second win against Carla Truth Williams. Tim, he looked like he was out of it. All of a sudden, you could see the second win to win the force.
That was a good left jab from Morrison, although Foreman did not blink. And another good one. Foreman replies. Morrison looks more relaxed. He does look a little tired, but he's more relaxed. Roundhouse left by Foreman. He did not land it solidly. A low blow by Morrison. He got away with the right hand. Under 30 seconds to go, round 3.
And Morrison is really breathing heavy now, Tim. Really breathing heavy. Again, George is putting that pressure on, putting that pressure. Here comes George again. Like that old joke, I don't know what it is, but here it comes again.
Foreman can be expected to fight this way. Morrison and his camp knows it, and they keep saying, as they have preparing for this, we simply cannot make mistakes.
Keep it slow. Looking good.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Now, that's the round you took off. Relax. Relax. Calm down. All right? Your recovery is good. Your recovery is good. The more you relax, the better off you are. Okay? Now, we need more punches. I need more sevens. Okay? That's what's going to keep him off of you. Fakes and flints when he gets close, and you don't want to throw.
That was that solid left hook to the body.
Two good combinations. Landed one by Foreman, then Foreman taking two back from Morrison. You heard Tommy Vergitz in the Morrison corner saying, I need more sevens. You could use those at the casinos here in Las Vegas as well, I guess, but they're a jab here at the Thomas and Mack. So there's one coming from him, and two more. Make the trainer happy. Round 4. Foreman dug a left to the body, but Morrison snapped a left hook counter punch and does it again with a good jab.
And a good left hook by Foreman and a good jab by Foreman. Another good jab by Foreman. Another good jab by Foreman.
Starting to back up Morrison with the jab.
All right, punch out. Two hands are free.
Look at that strength of that George Foreman.
Watch out.
Morrison landed a left hook to his ear, and Foreman just pushed him away. Now a short right inside from Foreman. Morrison punching back. It's opening up here in the 4th. Foreman throwing in combination now. Morrison trading, lands a right. Right hand lead from Morrison. Grazed the nose of Foreman. Morrison works his way out of the corner and lands a left hook. The crowd getting into this as the fighters exchange those combinations early in the round. And here in the fourth, perhaps the real fight fans knowing they're in for a war here.
Tim, one of the keys to this fight is if Tommy Morrison can make George take a back step. So far, George is putting all the pressure on Morrison, constantly going forward, pushing him back, moving after him again as he's doing now. Morrison is going to have to try to back Foreman up.
Through 3 rounds, Foreman the more accurate puncher. 66% to 35% according to the punch stat guys. Just missing a big right hand was Morrison. Under 30 seconds we go in round 4. Morrison back to the jab. Foreman lands the overhand right. Morrison missed with his. Digs to the body. Short right from Foreman. To Morrison's credit, each time he's taken that right hand, he's thrown one back of his own.
I got it. I'll get the iron.
Don't talk loud, please.
No, I won't say nothing. I'm with you. Give me it. I'm here. I'm here nice and quiet, baby. Anything you want.
On our jabs to throw our combinations. We got to have head movement before and after your jabs. Before and after. He's starting to creep up on you in the corners.
Gil, how do you see it through 4?
Well, so far, Tim, I have the fight dead even. Gave the first 2 rounds to Morrison, second 2 rounds to Foreman because of his aggressiveness and the pressure that he's putting on Tommy Morrison.
To the punch, anytime you feel trapped, be into the punch, fake slants, double self.
Just fine.
That jab, baby.
Well, punch stat shows in the jab category Morrison landing only 28% of his, but it's still been an effective weapon for him. Just the fact that he has been throwing it. Right hand lead. Got through by Morrison. Low blow from Foreman and a good left hook by Morrison.
2 good left hooks by Tommy Morrison, and George didn't move. Those were Morrison's best 2 punches of the fight. And you can just see George putting that pressure on, pushing him back, as we had mentioned in the opening.
Foreman weighing in at 256 to 226 for Tommy Morrison. Feints the right hand. Morrison throws a left jab out. Missed the uppercut, but landed a good left hook.
And George's right eye is starting to close, Tim. You have to remember, that's 44-year-old skin that's being hit there. It's not as elastic as a young man's.
Well, and he took quite a facial massage in the fight against Alex Stewart. Approaching the midway mark here in round 5. Morrison in the corner. And escapes along the ropes and then turned back right into a right hand from Foreman. George, we heard Foreman tell Angelo Dundee, don't say anything when he came back to the corner. He wanted no counsel from the veteran trainer, and Dundee said, don't worry, champ, I'm quiet.
Well, that was very smart of Angelo.
George keeps his own counsel. Unless he asks you, he doesn't expect any free advice.
It's not free, Tim. Angelo gets paid.
Good point. I hope he does. Got to keep him in sand and water down there in Florida. 45 seconds left in the fifth. Foreman throwing punches, but none of them damaging in that exchange. Morrison digs to the body without much power. Under 30 seconds we go in the fifth. Sneaky left hook lead by Morrison that landed. He's not been able to bother Foreman except with one shot earlier in the fight, round 2.
George just keeps walking forward.
But not terribly effectively in the second half of this round. End of round 5. Foreman plodding forward, but not really landing much in the way of scoring punches, in my view, in the fifth.
I might agree with you 100%, Tim. I gave that round to Morrison.
Okay, very good.
They put it in mind.
But we need combinations, punches and bunches. Lead with speed, follow with power. Lead with speed, follow with power.
Not sure what Morrison had in mind at that point where he turned back into the fray. Fortunately for him, he didn't take a clean punch.
He tries to force the issue.
I've seen him lose his cool before, Morrison, especially against Carl Williams. He doesn't react too well when he gets hit with a solid punch.
Morrison breathing with his mouth open as we begin round 6, but he comes out firing.
When he went back to the corner at the end of the last round, Tim, Tommy Morrison looked very, very tired. Again, George is not being very effective. He's walking in without throwing too many punches, but he's keeping that pressure and keeping Morrison working. He must have something in mind for later on in the fight.
The left got through for Morrison. I think one question has been answered for Morrison, the aspect of his stage fright and ability to play up to this moment. A low blow from Foreman gets a warning from Lane. Morrison seems to be relaxed very much in the fight. Despite the possible fatigue factor, Gil, Morrison so far has stuck to the game plan he wanted. Foreman doing what he does all the time, and that's just stalk you.
The only thing is, Tim, it's really taking George a little too long to get off, even when he traps Morrison in the corner or against the ropes. But he is putting the pressure. I think he feels that Morrison is going to wear out.
But meanwhile, would you agree Morrison is piling up the points?
Absolutely. I think he's winning this round. I thought he won the last round.
Combination from Foreman there.
All right, let's step back. There we go. Have to go, guys. Come on, come on.
A little bit of swelling under the right eye of George Foreman. That damage, there it is again. And
tremendous left hook by Tommy Morrison.
Morrison with the left jab and the left hook has definitely created some swelling under the right eye of Foreman.
And you can see again, George traps Morrison in the corner. Takes him a half hour to get off. Now let's take a look. He has him on the ropes. Let's see when George finally throws the punch. He doesn't.
Now, we talked about Morrison showing some signs of fatigue and Foreman trying to play on that. You have to wonder how far along in this bout Foreman can keep his pressure up without suffering his own fatigue. He's 44.
It's easier to walk forward, though, Tim, than to go backwards. Believe me. Good right hand by Foreman. Another right hand by Foreman. And Morrison answers back.
Yes, he did. He answered back with a good combination. Foreman gave it a little Ali shuffle on that right hand. And a big left hand by Morrison. And a right hand lands. Nice variety of punches. He followed with the left jab at the end of all of that. Morrison, in my view, putting rounds in the bank. And the question you raise is fatigue going to be a factor in the second half?
Halfway through. Better than halfway through. You're catching your second win now. Right now, we're going to catch our second win. Relax. Catch your second win. All right?
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
With right hand.
Close your mouth.
Beating with right hand hook behind it. 2-3 punches stop him from coming back with nothing.
The jab is everything, son. Everything.
On the water.
Set him up.
You could hear Angelo Dundee saying to Foreman, the jab is everything, son. Angelo is old enough to call George his son.
And Tim, there was a nice combination from George Foreman.
4 times in a row. 3-4 times in a row, he goes.
Back jab.
Tommy Morrison asked for the stool to be positioned under him better. He is definitely tired. His trainer, Tommy Vergit, saying this is where we get the second win. We'll all find out. Round 7.
The heads in there, guys.
You better not get the second win this early, Tim, or you may need a third win.
Big right hand from Morrison. And a left hand. And another left. The uppercut scored. He can't seem to move Foreman back, but how much can the old man take? He lands a right of his own. Combination from Foreman, not a lot on it. Missed with the right, and another right hand from Morrison scored.
This is a gut check for Tommy Morrison because George Foreman took his best shots and is firing back.
He got thumbed accidentally on the last right hand. Foreman landing with his thumb into the left eye of Morrison.
No question, George Foreman is a competitor. After taking those punches, he fired back with the best punches he's thrown in the fight. That's when instinct took over. Morrison looks like he's gasping for breath now.
But Joe, when he's punching with power, despite the obvious fatigue.
Oh, he has power. He's got snap in those punches.
Getting a little bit of rest here just by moving out of range of Foreman, not taking the pressure. Not a bad idea. I think he's fought this fight intelligently to this point. Banging to the body is Morrison, with a good right hand from Foreman. And a left from Foreman that landed. Little right hand lead, takes a left hand back from Foreman.
Well, we had mentioned when Morrison can move Foreman backward, that's when you can see that he's taking over the fight, and he has not been able to do that. No matter what he does, George just keeps coming.
2 short, sharp punches inside from George. Chopping right just grazed Foreman, grazed Morrison, did not hurt him. Under 30 seconds in round 7, an uppercut from Morrison that landed. I would say one weapon of George's that has not been the usual factor is his left jab. Not the usual punishing weapon.
He's not snapping that jab, Tim, you're right.
Low blow warning to Foreman.
Okay, Tommy.
Here we go.
I got you, buddy.
Looking good, baby.
Hey.
You can flow. It's your fight. You're in control.
You're in good control. I want you to take 30 seconds. All right, give yourself 30 of movement. I have to have more 7. You let him come in there all day long just now without throwing your 7.
His eyes are swollen shut.
I need your hands up. I need your position a little bit better, and need more combination. Inside.
That right hand lead from Morrison. Catching Foreman unawares. And a sneaky left hook there, and that uppercut underneath.
Oh, here we go. Seconds out.
That's where he got thumbed with that left hand from Foreman, but did not appear to bother Morrison. His corner telling him he's in control, Gil, you're worried about stamina over the last part of the fight. If you were in his corner, are you telling him he's in control, even though he may be?
Right now, Tim, I have the fight 67-66 Morrison, 1 point ahead. But as the fight goes on, it looks like Morrison is
get him up. Come on, let's
getting
go.
more and more fatigued. And 44-year-old George, very remarkable, taking those punches and continues to come forward. Again, Morrison's got to say to himself, what do I have to do to stop this big guy? And so far, he has not been able to do it.
Gil, if you know your man's ahead, but you think he's tiring, are you giving him the counsel they did, or at least the notion that he is in control? Or do you avoid saying that?
Well, Tim, what I used to do, if my guy looked a little tired, I'd tell him the other guy was tired. And now George is really starting to... There was that snappy left jab of George Foreman's.
That's been missing, but he just landed it there.
But again, when he moves Morrison against the ropes, he doesn't get off. And Morrison scouted George well. He said it takes a long time for him to get off, so I'm going to keep getting off first all night.
Low blow from Foreman, and Foreman the first to apologize, but the effect nonetheless felt by Tommy Morrison.
You get 5. Time.
Now you heard Mills Lane stopping the clock in the round.
5 minutes. You can have this duel.
And telling Morrison that he has 5 minutes to recover if he takes it all.
That's the second one. Next time it's going to cost you a point, okay?
There's a look at it. And Lane telling Foreman he'll take a point away. He had warned him previously.
Next time it'll cost you a point. No point yet, okay?
He's not taking a point.
No, he said, what I said, Gil, was that he warned Foreman he would take a point away on the next one.
You can't talk to him. You can't talk to him.
That's what I said to him. He's not taking a point away.
Correct.
Slow blow.
No, but what he said to Foreman, Gil, was that he would take a point away the next time because he's warned him twice.
Hey, there you go. Hey. Okay.
Anytime there's
time in, let's go.
If there's a flagrant low blow like that, Tim, I think he certainly should have taken a point.
Well, your point is he should have taken a point. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, he simply said to Foreman, I will take a point away the next time. Action continuing in round 8. If nothing else, taking the pain, it served as a little breather for Morrison, who did not take the full 5 minutes he could have.
Good left hook to the body by Morrison.
And another good left hook landing.
That rest seemed to revitalize Morrison a little bit, Tim. Punching a little better.
Under a minute to go now in the 8th round.
That's those heads. What's the head in there?
You have to admire the pressure, the fortitude, the stamina of George Foreman, but I've only given him 1 round and not quite as generous as you've been so far, Gil, in this fight. The question mark that you raise certainly remains. Can Morrison go the distance? And that's a funny thing to be asking about the 24-year-old when he's fighting a 44-year-old.
Well, it's a matter of styles, Tim. Foreman is fighting a relaxed fight, walking in, and the other guy's dancing all over the place and backing up. And that's what makes you tired. Now, I'm sure in George Foreman's mind, he thinks he won this round because he's been chasing Morrison the entire way.
Through 7 rounds, Morrison had thrown 100 more punches than Foreman.
We're going to have to steal each round now, okay? At the end, you're going to steal with combinations. Now, look, he's slow. He's frustrated, but you got to start picking it up. 4 rounds to go. We got that all day long, right? We got that all day long. Ain't nothing to it. You got to rest in between. Hell, you've never had that in practice, right? Okay, now, I need combinations. I need everything with speed, finishing out of the middle, okay? Don't worry about
I mean, slip to the left, short right hand. Okay. Just keep your hands up.
All right, come on.
Three
Give him the mouth.
All right, John. I got it.
Close your mouth. Come here, son. A little more. That's it.
I want you.
That's Charlie Scheib talking to George Foreman between rounds this time, asking him to slip to the right, throw short left hands. You heard the Morrison camp telling him they want combinations, finish them up, and don't stay there. We're into round 9, scheduled for 12, this being for the World Boxing Organization Heavyweight Championship, a vacant title Devalued by some, but not by George Foreman, who says he'll take it.
Big left hook by Tommy Morrison.
A dandy, splattering the sweat from the brow of Foreman into the seats.
With a right hand by Morrison.
Foreman, a good combination, and he's getting some chance from Tommy. Tommy in the crowd.
There's a new move for George Foreman.
I think he's worried about the sweat on the canvas there and the possibility of slipping. It looked like he was trying to dry out the soles of his feet.
Tell you one thing, George does not get discouraged. He's right back after Morrison, no matter how many times Morrison hits him.
Morrison landed a low blow without a warning.
I'm still looking for a good couple of snappy left jabs from George Foreman, and I don't see him. There I saw him. There's that uppercut by Morrison.
Good shot by Morrison.
Matter of fact, Morrison is landing most of the clean punches. There you can see George pushing those shoulders back that he does so well. But again, he moves Morrison into the corners, and he just can't get off. Can't get off. Look how he stays there before he punches.
And a badly timed shot from Foreman there. Landed a left behind it, but not much power. Morrison jabs his way out.
Morrison has a worried look on his face now, Tim.
Under a minute to go in the ninth. Good combination from Morrison. Buys himself a little time by moving around the ring. You know, he's had that mouth open for a number of rounds, all the way back to the third. But I don't think his fatigue has hurt him so far, and we're into the ninth. He's still punching with power, and in my view, has been in control of this fight. If Morrison goes to the 10th, that'll be the longest he's gone.
Look how long before George gets a punch off. Had him here for about 20 seconds. Never threw a punch.
And there it takes a short shot off the clinch, and Lane gives him a warning. But Morrison has done that 2 or 3 times to effect.
They say protect yourself at all times, Tim.
Good jab from Foreman. They have been infrequent. Morrison won back of his own, ending round 9.
Yeah. No, nothing. No. I got it. Don't worry. You'll have everything. Hey, hold that. Everything's fine. As long as you're jabbing, you keep your hands up. Beautiful.
Yeah, the man keep him up here, but left hook, right hand. 1, 2, 3. And just spinning.
Don't worry about the body shot. Champ, let him go.
In face. Throw at the gloves. Get him out of there. Don't let him creep in on you. Okay? Everything that has 7s, move away, set up. Set up quicker, set up quicker, making calls.
Let's take a look at this action in the clinch there. And you can see George trying to push Tommy Morrison away. And Mills Lane stepped in, and Morrison hit him with a right hand right on the chin.
Morrison showing effectiveness despite breathing heavily in round 9 through 42 punches, landed 55% of them. The 37% for Foreman, who threw only 30.
Good left hook by Morrison again. Again, we had mentioned that Morrison has so many physical advantages. He's got the hand speed, foot speed, and the punching power. But George, I know, takes a tremendous punch, and I didn't think Morrison was going to be able to take some of these solid punches, but George hasn't landed too many.
Gil, we're in the 10th round. Would you agree that old George needs a knockout to win this?
Well, I have Morrison 3 points ahead, Tim, so if Foreman could win the last 2 or 3 rounds, would have a very interesting score. But
he landed a good left hand, but just grazed Morrison with the right behind it on the cross.
But it takes him so long to get off, Tim. Morrison scouted him perfectly for this fight. There was a good stiff jab by George.
Well, there have been a lot of skeptics, a lot of doubters about Tommy Morrison. I think they have to kind of come around here, should he win this fight, to feel that he has fought intelligently and kept to his strategy.
Morrison, Tim, was affected by that right hand by George Foreman. It didn't look like a big punch, but it bothered Tommy.
And another low blow, that one to the kidneys. Mills Lane doesn't agree with him. He was bothered by that.
Now let's see how George reacts. And Morrison wobbled a little bit, Tim.
Yes, he did, off a short left from George. Another low blow from Foreman he gets away with.
And here's George pushing him back into the corner, but Morrison escapes.
Morrison trying to keep his feet under him. Throws a combination without a lot of zip. That's a little better. A right hand behind the left hook. Foreman missing. Morrison over the top. Under a minute to go in the 10th.
And George's right eye is really starting to look angry now. Big swelling underneath that right eye. And they're booing Morrison for moving away. But it is an effective strategy.
Well, those are Foreman fans, no doubt. A good right hand by Morrison. And a good left by Foreman. That rocked Morrison. Morrison comes back with a right of his own. Morrison's hands are down more here. He's in jeopardy.
Another low blow by George.
That's going to cost him a point.
And that does cost him a point.
1 point off. 1 point off here. 1 point off. Come on.
Big right hand by Morrison.
Final seconds of the 10th. Roundhouse left misses.
Only got 6 minutes. This guy ain't gonna steal nothing. You're right, he ain't a good referee. But it ain't gonna help him none.
After getting a third warning for unintentional.
Yeah.
That's unintentional low blows deducted 1 point.
Mouthpiece.
Left corner for George Foreman.
Hey, Mills, I have to have a lot of sevens, a lot of punches and bunches. Beating to the combinations, hands up, hips.
There you can see that low blow by George Foreman. Morrison answered nicely with a good left hook on the button.
It did cost Foreman a point, and there's a very good left hook back as Gil described. Into the 11th round. New territory here for Tommy Morrison.
Don't count, right? You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
And again, you had mentioned that George Foreman did not want Mills Lanes, the referee. That 1 point he took would be a key point.
How's your scorecard now, Gil? There it is.
97-94 Morrison.
I have Morrison handily ahead, having given only 1 round to Foreman back in the 4th. Now you can make the case for him stalking and leading the attack, but Morrison has been the busier fighter. 402 punches to 338 through 10.
Well, you know what it's like? It's like a cat and a dog. The dog chases the cat into the corner, and then the cat scratches the heck out of him. That's what Morrison's been doing. Moving back, gets trapped in the corner, but then he gets off first and lands the clean punches.
But how about your concern earlier that he was showing fatigue that might be a factor in these late rounds?
Well, his corner man told him he was going to get a second wind, and it looks like he did. But again, he better not need a third one.
We're in the 11th, scheduled for 12.
And you see,
down by.
Again, George had him in the corner. Morrison got off first. George just walks in, doesn't punch, and Morrison nails him with some kind of punch or the other. Here's George walking in again, walking in.
And he lets Morrison out without much resistance from that corner.
And you know, Tim, they say fighters get old all of a sudden. George didn't get old all of a sudden, but you can certainly see the signs of aging in this fight, because it's taking him so long to pull a trigger on any punches. Even if he happens to get lucky and win the fight, there's a big difference in this George Foreman.
Big left hook off the clinch again. Morrison's done that well throughout the fight. That left hook missing. Under a minute to go in the 11th.
Well, Morrison now Morrison, I think, feels he's got the key, Tim, and he's very, very relaxed. He knows what he has to do. He's got to get through this round and one more round. Here comes George again. He's got his six. And again, George walks in and Morrison does the punching. Here's George again, coming again. Now let's see how long it takes him to get off. Doesn't get off at all.
Morrison now throwing punches from all angles. Right hand leads, left hook leads. He's abandoned his jab.
In George's mind, he probably thinks he's winning these rounds because Morrison's retreating. But he's retreating and George is getting nailed.
I don't see how Foreman can believe that, although Angelo Dundee tried to convince him of that during the last break between rounds.
And Morrison is breathing heavy.
Very good. Last round, there ain't no more.
Keep your hand.
Ain't no more.
Keep your hand up.
Keep your hands up.
He's hitting this boy. He's about ready to quit any time, but he's getting room. So keep your hands up and get close to us.
A lot of combinations, okay? I need you. He's going to come at you here now, okay? Everything you coming forward on, okay? 7-7 combinations. Get on the inside. Be tight. Be tight on the inside. Look for you.
They doing that. Just don't blow your nose. Last round now, champ. Ain't no more. Don't let him turn his back on you.
Punch. You understand what I'm saying? Steal the last 30 seconds. That's right. They telling him he's got knocked out.
Let's go.
Let's go. How do you choose?
And final round. How about a
Good
round
sign by Morrison coming up that stool with some enthusiasm here. We're into the final round. And you got to believe the way we have been viewing it, that Tommy Morrison may be on the verge of ending the career of George Foreman. Foreman could choose to continue should he lose here tonight, but that's highly unlikely. He has indicated that a loss would send him into final retirement after his glorious career, especially the second round of that. Morrison cannot afford a mistake. His corner says, be tight, be close, don't leave yourself open. And he lands a good right hand.
And Tim, knowing George's mind the way I think I do, if he loses the fight, don't be surprised if he doesn't say he's going to fight again.
Ask for a rematch, maybe. But George Foreman, 75 fights in his illustrious career, only 3 losses, maybe looking at number 4 at age 44. For Tommy Morrison, it would get the monkey off his back, silence the skeptics.
Good right hand by George Foreman.
Short right hand.
Short right hand.
George Foreman showing that great championship quality, doing all he can. Is it enough? Hasn't backed up since the fight began, but has taken most of the punishment.
Timmy's a physical marvel at his age. If he ever go these 12 rounds,
even had a word for his corner there. We couldn't make it out. George headed to sitcom heaven there at ABC when his fight is over here. It'll begin filming in July.
Hook by Tommy Morrison. Combination. Again, George is really frustrated now. Really frustrated. He's trying, but he just can't seem to be able to put it together.
Under a minute to go in the fight.
You can just see Tommy Morrison getting off first, beating George to the punch. No matter how long George has him trapped on the rope, Morrison still beats him to the punch.
And Morrison.
Good left hook. Good left hook by Foreman.
It was a good left hook, but I don't think as punishing as it appeared. Morrison had his hand up and he kind of leaned back on the ropes.
Over here. Time.
Here's a break for Tommy Morrison.
Loose tape on Foreman's glove, and Morrison happy about this development. A little breather for Morrison.
Just take the tape off. All right, that's good enough. That's good enough. It'll lay. That's good enough. Come on, Charlie. Come on,
35 seconds remain.
Time in. Come on, here we go.
That was a break for Tommy Morrison. And again, it could add to the controversy of Mills Lane, although he certainly did the right thing by stopping the fight and fixing that tape. And he didn't put the tape on George's glove.
following the rules. I don't think there can be any controversy, and it's loose again. They didn't repair it well. And he calls time with 11 seconds left, but they keep fighting.
And Mills Lane lets them fight.
All right, hey, move here. Time.
He's calling time again.
All right.
And a bell sounds, ending the fight. It really doesn't matter. It is moot. Tommy Morrison with the look of a winner. The 24-year-old from Kansas City. Only one defeat on his record, that at the hands of Ray Mercer, but a lot of skeptics about his ability. And no doubt some of those will be saying, well, if he wins this, he should have been able to stop the old man. But we saw how tough, how strong George Foreman still is at age 44.
What a competitor he is, Tim. He almost never wants to face defeat. And Angelo was steaming George up a little more, telling him he was right about Mills Lane.
George, your eyes look good.
How have you got it at the end of the fight, Gil?
Well, Tim, I have Tommy Morrison winning by a wide margin. With the point deducted, I have Morrison 117, Foreman 111. I didn't give him any credit for his aggressiveness because it wasn't effective aggressiveness. He chased Morrison, chased him, and when he caught him, he got nailed.
You got to throw punches for sure. He didn't throw enough of them, in my view, either. I thought Tommy Morrison fought a very intelligent fight, stuck with his plan, and I think he deserves full credit for a victory I expect he's going to get. Let's find out if he did. We'll go now to our host, James Brown.
All right, Timmy, thank you very much. And as we await the decision from Michael Buffer, three things come to mind. Quickly, all fight fans certainly know that George Foreman offered some advice to Tommy Morrison after that fifth-round brutal beating at the hands of Ray Mercer back in October of 1991. The question is, did that advice come back to haunt George Foreman tonight? Number two, a much more serious work ethic displayed by Tommy Morrison tonight. He was in excellent shape. We'll get back to the third point after the most important point, and that's the decision. Let's go back down to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you the winner of this bout will be the WBO World Heavyweight Champion. We go to the scorecards. Dalby Shirley and Patricia Jarman both score the bout 117 to 110. Jerry Roth scores the bout 118 to 109 for the winner and new champion, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
So big George Foreman, in fact, may have had that advice come back to haunt him. Tommy Morrison, I think, answered an awful lot of questions. The third point that I was going to make, Tommy Morrison has said repeatedly that he did not want nor like the label of the Great White Hope. He said he did not like the connotation, but in fact, he knows that it has an awful lot of benefit associated with it, but he proved it in the ring, that is. And as we take a look at what the final punch stat revealed, Tommy Morrison followed his game plan superbly, delivering on 46% of his punches, but they were very, very well executed, especially delivering that left hook when it was needed. As we take a look at the jab, well, you heard Gil Clancy and Tim Ryan say he needed to deliver that a lot more, although he did not connect on as much as George Foreman. Nonetheless, it was quite effective. And right now, let's take you back down ringside to Tim Ryan.
Thank you, James. I'm with the winner here and the new WBO champion, Tommy Morrison. You did a great job in this fight. You were in control all of the way. I think the only thing that we were wondering about as the fight progressed seemed to me that you got tired early. Gil Clancy thought it might be a problem late. It proved not to be. Can you talk about that?
Well, one thing that we concentrate on is pushing ourselves to the limit in the gym. When you push yourself to the limit, you get to know your limits as a fighter, and that's one thing that hurt us prior to the Mercer bout. We'd never been past the 6th round, but we did a lot of extra work to try to prepare for this because I knew it was going to come with someone as big and as lumbering as George. He fought a hell of a fight. Just a matter of just a little younger and a little quicker.
Well, and you stuck to your game plan, I thought, very intelligently throughout. What did George say to you at the end when he came over to your corner?
He told me that I did a hell of a job. He told me God bless, he loved me, and he said never cuss in front of people.
Well, good counsel from a guy who's certainly been a credit to his sport and brought so much life into the heavyweight ranks. Now people are going to expect the same from you, Tommy. What do you want to do right now apart from rest?
Well, at this point, I'm going to go home, relax for about a week, and I'm going to continue working because one thing that I didn't do prior to the Mercer bout is I didn't always utilize my time the way that I should. As a young athlete, sometimes that's difficult. But I'm a more dedicated athlete at this point and a more mature athlete, and I want to prove it to the world.
It seemed like, from what you told us yesterday, your trainer Tommy Vergis, you had a game plan to jab, to move, to be intelligent, not make mistakes, and you carried it out.
One thing that's George Foreman he's a very hard puncher and he has a devastating jab, but one thing that you can't let him get set, and that's one thing that the jab did for us is make him reset each and every time that he's set.
All right, we've got George Foreman here who has already congratulated you and given you good counsel not to cuss in public. George, is this, I'm sure the first question everybody wants to know, you lost, is this it? What about wife Joan, and what are you going to do?
Well, I've got a date with Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it's those buffalo wings that I'm interested in. Now, a lot of people like that original chicken, but I'm against it. I like the crunchy fried.
After you eat the chicken.
Yeah. Then I got a date to eat some wieners because I'm cooling out on the hamburger. It's going to be 2 hot dogs and 1 bun, and I'm going to eat my head off. I've had a great stay in boxing. I've enjoyed it. It's a wonderful time. The people of Las Vegas have always come out in numbers to see us fight. We're so happy about the turnout, and it was a good fight, 12 rounds. For the first time, a fight went a long time. The people are proud. I'm proud. The judges have spoken. May God bless everybody.
It sounds like you're saying goodbye for boxing.
Well, I don't intend to box.
Hello, TV.
That was my goal. I fought for a title twice, and I enjoyed myself. Now I got to raise a herd of children.
George, nonetheless, this was another great performance by you. Maybe not in terms of the scoring punches over the course of the fight. You showed at 44 you had the stamina, you had the nerve, you had the pride to go the 12 and try to make a fight of it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I almost started to knock him out, but I said, look, the kid's gone 12 rounds. I'm not going to even go for a knockout. And then I realized I lost the fight, so I should have went for the knockout. But I'm going for the chicken, I tell you. Man, I'm hungry now. I've went I don't know how many days without a good meal. I'm going to settle down and get me some rice and gravy.
Are you saying farewell to the game?
Oh, well, I'm going to be sticking around to kind of enjoy it because boxing has really been good to me. So I'll be helping out. HBO still got me with them, and they serve some good meals in between fights.
You're still a good bobber and weaver, too, George. Thank you very much.
I don't use a bobber.
Congratulations for a fantastic career for George Foreman, and congratulations to Tommy Morrison, who's the new WBO champion and certainly has bigger things in mind. Now let's go up to our host, James Brown.
All right, Timmy, thank you very much. And indeed, George Foreman's still a very tough man to pin down. But, folks, we think that we have delivered, as we said at the very top of the show, on a solid lineup of action your way tonight. Certainly that took place in the very first fight between Bolillo Gonzalez, who lost his super lightweight title, that to Zach Padilla in a very impressive match. And Oscar De La Hoya, well, it only took 1 round. He barely broke a sweat as he continues to march along impressively. But it appears that the story of the night is that the curtain may very well have come to a close on an outstanding career belonging to the man by the name of Big George Foreman. It was 25 years ago when we first saw George, a flag-waving gold medal winner at the '68 Olympics. He ascended